Cannabis is heavy over 0.3% THC. This is more for recreational use, but it also has a ton of therapeutic effects because THC actually binds to the CB1 receptor perfectly, just as anandamide. Anandamide is our endocannabinoid that binds to the CB1 receptor. THC can do that. So the difference between cannabis and hemp has less than 0.3% THC. So these are going to be your non-psychoactive cannabinoids like CBD or CBG, CBDA, CBGA. There's a ton of different cannabinoids in this plant that are non-psychoactive. So that's, education that we just have to continue to push out there, that this isn't about getting high. This is about getting healthy. This is about stimulating a system in your body that has a biological connection to this plant.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because it's so much, again, propaganda. And I was a victim of that propaganda, growing up when I saw somebody. And again, I mean, it's illegal. So it's more than propaganda. I mean, I would, you see somebody smoking marijuana, you think they're a degenerate,
Yeah.
and that's just, and most of the time I tell patients, if you're craving sugar, it's because your body needs something. It's just picking the wrong thing. It needs energy, and so it's craving sugar. So you got to think that if people are doing illegal things and it's because the body needs something. It's trying to fill those receptors. That's how I look at any kind of craving. The body is wanting something. Sometimes it picks the wrong thing, but it's trying to create or satisfy a need. And if you have those many receptors for cannabis, your body must need it.
Yeah. Trillions. I mean, this is a system that, like I said, is working 24/7, 365. It's I think one of the main things I think a lot of your listeners are going to want to hear is, what is it good for, right? And we can talk about a lot of things that, as I mentioned, you could Google any human condition followed by CBD, and the study's been done. There are hundreds of studies happening currently. And here's something that is important for everyone to understand is Big Pharma has been studying this endocannabinoid system for a long time. And right now, what they've been doing is they are extracting natural molecules from the hemp plant. They're putting them into the human body. They're studying the receptor reaction. Based on their findings, they will reverse engineer that natural molecule and then recreate a synthetic version. They have over 100 synthetic cannabinoid compounds in phase 2, 3, and 4 studies today, right now. And there's over 500 patents filed for synthetic drugs to target the endocannabinoid system. So they understand the power of this system. That they're not teaching this, of course, but they're getting ready to roll out a significant amount of synthetic cannabinoids. And some of the reason is, as I mentioned, that this is connected, the ECS is connected to, it can help modulate, can help regulate your your central nervous system in many different ways in the brain. The ECS is very neuroprotective, and it does this multiple different ways. One are endogenous cannabinoids, endocannabinoids. They act as antioxidants in the brain, and they can scavenge for free radicals. The endocannabinoid system is very involved in managing inflammation in the body, but as well as the brain. It can keep inflammation down. As we know, this is a big contributing factor to neurodegenerative diseases. It also can help with neuroplasticity, neurogenesis. And this is just talking about the endocannabinoid system, by the way. This has nothing to do with plant-based cannabinoids. Also can protect against excitotoxicity because this is very involved in regulating the way that your neurotransmitters fire. So very involved in neuroprotection. Now, as I mentioned, these plant-based cannabinoids, they're small enough, the particulates are small enough to cross the blood-brain barrier. So there have been numerous studies on this helping, not our product, but plant-based cannabinoids helping for anxiety, helping for tension, helping for, various different mental conditions. So this is exciting when we know how neuroprotectant that the ECS is, and that we have cannabinoids that can stimulate this system in the brain. And we are looking into like neurodegenerative diseases. So this is an area of interest for us for sure. Now, just to keep touching on areas that we're seeing incredible benefits in, one would be inflammation in the body. So the endocannabinoid system is very involved in managing inflammation in the body, can downregulate pro-inflammatory cytokines. It can inhibit the COX-2 pathway with the right signal. So some of these plant-based cannabinoids can support, can stimulate our ECS to do these repairs or to balance things out in the body. Ultimately, that's what the ECS does. It tries to maintain balance in the body.
Just to make sure everybody understands, when he's talking about neuroprotective, he's talking about protecting you against dementia and Alzheimer's and, any kind of mental deterioration. And neuroplasticity means that your nerves can regrow. You can, if you have brain trauma or any kind of nervous system damage, we used to think the nerves could not regrow. But that neuroplasticity means that even, if you have a stroke or whatever, your nerves can go around that damaged area and reconnect. Isn't that kind of what you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The ECS is very involved in all of that, which is important. So like good molecules in the body, they decline over time, right?
Yeah.
So as we get older, our body doesn't produce as many endogenous cannabinoids that we once did when we were young. Now, we have enzymes in our body. The average lifespan of an endocannabinoid is roughly 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So we have enzymes that are involved in the genesis of them, but then we have different enzymes that are involved in the destruction of them. So we make these on demand. Our body can make hundreds of millions to billions of endogenous cannabinoids a day because they are called when they are needed from the endocannabinoid system, when there is an imbalance in the body. But once that endocannabinoid binds to that receptor and it does its job, it sends its signal, then the receptor broadcasts to the body what it needs to do. The enzymes will rapidly destroy them. And they do that so we don't have too many endocannabinoids in our body to oversaturate receptors. That's the way that the body was designed. However, as we get older, we stop producing as many endocannabinoids. And you can contribute this to like testosterone or NAD or glutathione, right? But we also have enzymes that can become overactive and they can actually destroy endocannabinoids before they actually reach the receptor. And this is a theory that Dr. Nathan Russo has been working on, which is called endocannabinoid deficiency. So this system was always designed to catch things early. It's my opinion that where health conditions come from, or maybe even serious disease comes from, are people that are deficient in endocannabinoids, because this system is designed to catch things early. When the body becomes imbalanced, it wants to recorrect that. So if we don't have enough endogenous cannabinoids in our body to do what it was always designed to do, then problems can start to manifest and turn into real serious problems. So endocannabinoid deficiency is something that is very serious and can absolutely be a massive contributing problem to health in America. Now, the challenge is, when we first got into this, I thought we would just be able to test somebody's endocannabinoid levels, that it would just be as simple as doing a blood test. It's not. And you have to get, if they're very invasive, you have to get into the brain or do it like a spinal fluid tap to actually get an accurate read on how many endogenous cannabinoids are in the body. But also the problem with that is even if we were to do that, it wouldn't give us an accurate reading because we make these on demand. So it's going to fluctuate depending on what you're going through, what type of stressors are happening in your body, what type of imbalances that you're dealing with. So it is always going to be a challenge to be able to pinpoint exactly how many we have in our body. Now, we're working with a couple of genetics companies where we're looking into doing genetic SNPs on the endocannabinoid system itself. We can do genetics testing on the enzymes that are creating our endogenous cannabinoids, and then we can also do genetics testing on the enzymes that are rapidly destroying our endogenous cannabinoids. So we can find out if we have overactive enzymes that are destroying our endogenous cannabinoids, which would lead us to believe that you would be deficient, and you could have been deficient just straight out of the gate of life. So that would be an area where we would look to supplement that.
So can you figure it out looking at epigenetic testing? It's got to be SNPs or whatever. Epigenetics is the big thing now, is turning genes on or off. So, right. But there's no epigenetic indicators that someone may be deficient.
So not a clear. I mean, you would have to look at the enzymes itself. So we just started this conversation with a company that can do about 70 different SNPs on the endocannabinoid system itself. So this is exciting because where plant-based cannabinoids can help with many different conditions. I mean, it's been studied for gastrointestinal, whether it's Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, IBS, lupus, Lyme, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, mental neurological disorders, just inflammation in the body, for pain. These are all the things that plant-based cannabinoids have been studied for. But what I think we can do when looking at these genetics testing to find out if somebody would be prone to be deficient in endocannabinoids from enzymes that are overactive, then we could start to supplement with plant-based cannabinoids and then start to balance out the ECS and utilize this as a preventative healthcare measure. So we can target the ECS for preventative healthcare, for longevity, for anti-aging. So there's multiple different ways that we can stimulate, enhance the endocannabinoid system for health and wellness, many different ways.
Now, do you know much about heart rate variability? Because that heart rate variability kind of measures the balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic and how quickly, you can rebalance yourself. Have they done any studies looking at CBD and increasing heart rate variability? Because that's a mortality indicator. And are there any studies on looking at that increasing heart rate variability?
I'm sure there are. I'm not familiar with them. I do know that CBD can function as a vasodilator. We do have CB2 receptors very much connected to our cardiovascular system. But as far as, the details of that, I'm not too familiar with it. And to be honest, it's been a bit overwhelming for us because sometimes I wish this was good for 2 or 3 things because we'd be a lot further along in our research. But, when you look at what the ECS connects to and where we have cannabinoid receptors in our body, it's a bit overwhelming because we have 51 different things that we want to do clinical studies on based on provider feedback that we're getting.
Yeah. Hey, Rebel, we need to sneak in this commercial before, don't we? And we'll give our guest a little chance to drink some water. He's been talking a lot. So you want to go to break real quick?
We are going to a quick break, so stay with us as we explore the ageless blueprint right here on W4HC Radio and Talk4 TV. An ancient secret with a modern twist for better health and vitality. Dr. Taylor will be right back. Taking care of your health shouldn't mean taking a handful of pills every day. At Taylor MD Formulations, they create doctor-developed supplements that combine the best natural ingredients so you get the results you